Good morning, Queens, and welcome to Motivational Mondays. Every Monday morning, I invite you to start your day with a motivational tip to implement throughout your week. Remember that on this channel, we strive to help women, especially women of color, to become quality kingdom queens through faith, femininity, beauty, and lifestyle excellence. So it is essential to encourage and edify our queens with biblical truths and solutions to worldly challenges that drain our faith and derail our beauty and power in Christ. This week's motivation is focused on clarity. Being a woman in this day and age is hard. However, being a woman crafted and nourished to honor and glorify God is even more challenging. Therefore, attacking a woman's virtue, gender, and livelihood is a constant challenge. Now, I will admit that being a man is also tasking in this day and age, but I am a woman, and this is a channel for queens. Therefore, I can only speak from the woman's perspective. Nevertheless, women have far more expectations placed upon them than men. Women are expected to cook, clean, bear children, rear children, love and support their husbands, work, become bosses, break male-dominated standards, fight for their rights, and fight for acknowledgement, while also trying to stay beautiful, ageless, fit, and desirable without seeming too desperate for attention and affection. She must be sexually stimulating, but not engage in intimate relations, or she will be labeled a strumpet. She must be independent, but not too independent. Soft, but not too soft. And don't even mention for a woman to be submissive. Doing so will cause another world war. And I will not get into being a woman of color amidst all this. This motivation will never end if I broach that topic. However, the question I pose is, how can a woman ever win in a world filled with such dichotomy? Or in other words, a world with contradictory portrayals of a woman's role. Trying to embody all the characteristics and traits I just mentioned in today's world immediately destroys and dismantles the true identity and purpose of the woman God created you to become. Let me explain the truth to you. God is true. If we follow the world, we agree to become confused, disoriented, disgruntled, and influenced by all these unhealthy and conflicting traits that both men and women of this world place on us. Yes, we live in the world and we do live with the people in it. But why are we taking advice and living our lives according to the people who are no more significant than we are? Why are you confused about who you are and your purpose? Why are you confused about whether you should be soft or hard? Why are you confused about whether you should defy or submit to your husband? Why are you struggling with being identified as a woman or a man? Why are you questioning how you look in specific attires? Why is there even a question about your sexual morality? First, these ideas are personal, so we need to deal with them personally. We need to ask ourselves why we are in constant conflict with these ideas and why we are in agreement or opposition to them, and settle the issue with God and professional counseling. Agonizing over these conflicting ideas is stressful, and you may become depressive. Secondly, who are we trying to impress? Who are we trying to please, my queens? Is it our co-workers? People on social media platforms that we don't know and may never meet? Who are you looking to, queen, for your validation? Who are you looking towards to help make decisions that are not theirs to make? People can give suggestions and opinions. It is encouraging and edifying to have others pour the teachings and love of God into you. However, those are not the suggestions and ideas we digest. We know that suggestions and opinions from individuals against God's instructions are what we embody and make our daily habits. Why have we turned away from God's truth about a woman's true nature and her character? I will tell you why. We have become confused and muddled by the ideas of the world's unattainable woman. Queens, she does not exist. You cannot embody everything the world has defined for a woman to become. There's no way that you can cook, clean, raise your children, work a 9 to 5, be fit and desirable, break male standards, and be both hard and soft at the same time by yourself. You cannot and should not do this all alone. If you are doing this, then you are breaking. You are crying out for help. You can fool others, my queen, on the outside, but you cannot fool yourself, and you cannot fool God. Surviving hardships is admirable, but not desired and should not be normalized. And this is coming from someone who has experienced so many difficulties and trauma that I cannot begin to count. We make our own choices and decisions, whether against or for God. I will admit that I am the same way. Not every choice and decision I make will be with God's interests at the center. Sometimes my choices bear good fruit, and sometimes, more times than I like, they can bear no fruit at all. But you see, God is not the author of confusion, so you shouldn't become confused about His expectations and desires for you either. Let me give you the verse straight from the Bible. 1 Corinthians 33 states, "For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints." Queens, we are confused about our identity as a woman, a queen and a child of God because we choose to become confused. We've decided to watch and imitate the world, not the other way around. We choose to live by our own rules and not God's. We freely select the consequences of the choices and actions that we have made without seeking and talking to God first. We don't have peace in our lives because we choose not to have peace. We decided to look at that TikTok video that doesn't align with God's ideas for a woman. We've decided to dress against God's desire. We choose to have intimacy against God's set standards. We decided to engage in things we knew or we know will hurt and disorient our foundation. And what's worse is that we try to tell ourselves that our actions are acceptable because the world is also doing them. And of course, no one is correcting or holding the world to a standard. Goodness, queens, that kind of thinking is laughable and contributes further to our confusion about what is best for us in God's eyes. This week, queens, let's work on our state of confusion. Let's go back to our foundation, our Bible, to find the answers to our identities and purpose in this world. Let's read about women of the Bible. Let's read about Jesus' mother Mary, the Proverbs 31:10-31 woman, Mary Magdalene, Ruth, Elizabeth, Esther, and so much more. Let's pick up some Christian-inspired feminine books to read this week. I know that I already have my book prepared. Let's get back to a state of mental and spiritual clarity. Let us distinguish ourselves from the women who live without God's law and are constantly confused and disadvantaged. Let's refrain from watching social media posts and video clips of women living utterly separate from God's woman. Now, women are not perfect, even the great women listed in the Bible. But the difference is that we are being molded, shaped, and beautified by the Creator Himself. He has set us apart for a reason. He chose us to be the example for a reason. Do you not understand how many princesses are looking up to us? If we are confused about our role as women, what makes you think, queens, that our princesses will fare better when they are older if they have had no proper guidance? Life will be challenging, but with God, we will have a mind of clarity and honesty always. Thank you for tuning in with me today, Your Highnesses, and have yourself a majestic, Christ-filled day.